We finally get the first transaction. Arizona trades up to the number 11 spot. They give up the 14th pick in the...
On October 6th of 2020, we would see John Chayka make his fourth first-round selection as the GM of the Arizona Coyotes. And this team was in a state of misery and decline. So it was crucial that John Chayka struck gold with this first-round pick. Except, this didn't happen. This is the 2019 NHL Draft. Because in 2020, the Arizona Coyotes would lose their first and second round pick due to illegal prospect fitness testing back in 2018. And not only did they horrendously lose their first and second round pick, right after sending the Devils a first round pick that turned into Dawson Mercer and several high-end prospects including Kevin Ball, for 35 games of their savior, Taylor Hall, who would then proceed to sign with the Buffalo Sabres that following fall. But they would also trade away their 2020 third in a deal for Carl Soderberg. And being that their first pick was in the fourth round, they needed to find a diamond in the rough. And well, there just so happened to be an elite prospect that most teams had on their no draft list, but a player who had first round talent.
That being said, that's not what everybody's talking about right now. So, Mitchell Miller, the 111th draft pick for the Arizona Coyotes.
Because before the 2020 NHL Draft, Mitchell Miller, this guy, don't be like this guy. Also, to the YouTube moderator, please note that this is in an educational context, and I read every line of the ad suitability guideline to make sure I was compliant. Sorry guys, YouTube usually flags these videos, and I am very passionate about this topic, so I really don't want to see it get blacklisted. But Miller would send a letter to all 31 teams, stating, "When I was in 8th grade, I made an extremely poor decision and acted very immaturely. I bullied one of my classmates. I deeply regret the incident and have apologized to the individual. Since the incident, I've come to better understand the far-reaching consequences of my actions that I failed to recognize and understand nearly 7 years ago." Which would lead to every team in the NHL, other than Arizona, reportedly blacklisting Miller from their draft list. And with that being said, I feel like what Mitchell Miller did is being severely understated online and in the news, or at the least, being explained in a way that doesn't express the brevity of the situation. Because during middle school, yes, he did bully his classmate, Isaiah, who just so happened to be a mentally disabled African American with the mental ability of a 10-year-old, but Mitchell Miller seemed to have forgotten his own details. How convenient. Because it would be discovered that Mitchell Miller not only physically abused Isaiah, but he would constantly berate him with slurs, on top of taking it way too far on multiple occasions. Like forcing him to eat, you know what? I don't want to get blacklisted. If you do want to read the article, it's a tough read. I will link it down below. Mitchell Miller made his fellow classmate Isaiah's life a living nightmare, which is why Mitchell Miller would be taken to court, where he would be sentenced to serve community service. And the common rebuttal to this sentiment is, he was 14. Kids make dumb decisions. And you know what? I completely agree with that. Kids do make really stupid decisions. I being one of them, and I'm sure you did too. Now, do they usually end up in court and sentenced to community service? No, they are not. But kids, people, we grow. And so yes, that is a fair argument. In fact, I believe this sentiment needs more emphasis. People do make mistakes, and it is important that we as a society at least appreciate the individuals that do show remorse and make changes for the better. However, explain to me what has been done, what has been said that shows us Mitchell Miller has changed as a person. Why possibly do people defending Mitchell Miller online assume this kid turned into a saint? Is it because he sent an apology letter to all 31 teams? What if I were to tell you that Mitchell Miller never actually apologized to Isaiah's face after all those years? And not only that, during court, it was reported that the other kid involved in the candy incident broke down crying, apologizing to Isaiah and his mom. While, on the other hand, Mitchell Miller apparently showed no remorse, and reportedly, the only reason he admitted to the incident is because the situation was caught on camera. So if he pleaded guilty, this video would become public knowledge. Don't you think messing with someone's life your entire childhood would warrant an apology, especially if you're trying to show teams that you as a person have actually progressed. Yes, he was 14, 15 when these incidents happened, but right now, this man is an adult and he still hasn't figured that out. Do you not think that it was a massive red flag that Arizona Coyotes GM Bill Armstrong would say in an interview? We hope he uses this platform moving forward to raise awareness about bullying, which is good, but he's also implying that Mitchell Miller has not done this yet, but will hopefully start now after he is drafted by an NHL team. Because here's the thing, people make mistakes, learn and grow as a person. However, what has Mitchell Miller done besides apologize to NHL teams? AKA, I'm not actually sorry to Isaiah, I'm sorry because I want to be a rich NHL player. This is a player who has not shown he deserves to play in the best hockey league in the world. Because here's the thing, NHL teams who win championships have a great locker room culture, and one player, one cancer, can disrupt that culture, therefore affecting the morale of the entire team. It's the reason why a guy like Tony DeAngelo, who is evidently a great offensive defenseman, gets passed around the league like a virus on your grandma's computer. This is the reason why NHL teams did not consider drafting Mitchell Miller without even knowing the full story behind his letter. And to those who now say, well, again, Rob, this is cancel culture, yada yada yada. I think it's also important to note that the NHL would collapse if it lost all of its sponsors. It's a sad truth, but organizations who depend on sponsorships rely on them to exist. And do you think that Rapid7, well, whatever that is, apparently a software company based out of Boston, that they would want to see a known racist bully loaded with controversy representing their company? No, absolutely not. First and foremost, the Mitchell Miller saga has shown how morally bankrupt some NHL teams are, as his horrific history, more importantly, not showing any growth, is surely enough to be shunned from the NHL. Again, show me what he has proved. And secondly, if you don't agree that this is an extremely horrible idea to sign Mitchell Miller, it is idiotic when you consider that the NHL would lose millions in revenue if Mitchell Miller was actually signed with the Boston Bruins, which would make the NHL's salary cap stagnate even more. And to those who say, well, you're being dramatic, Hockey Canada just lost tens of millions of dollars from sponsors and grants due to the 2018 World Junior scandal. Things like this happen, and the NHL just so happens to be worth tens of billions of dollars more than Hockey Canada. So if Mitchell Miller ever suited up in the NHL, it would be a disaster. Thankfully, however, the Boston Bruins would decide to terminate his contract. So I hope Mitchell Miller does make meaningful life changes where he ends up being a decent human being. But from what we've seen, we might as well call this man Oscar's roommate because he is a piece of trash. As this situation highlights the need for a cultural shift in hockey as a sport. Hockey is currently in a place where players are associated with being arrogant, unethical little monsters, and I hate that. Yes, I played with and knew several jerk-off hockey players growing up, but most of my teammates were some of the nicest, down-to-earth guys I've ever met. So I'm sick and tired of bad apples like Mitchell Miller, Brendan Leipzig, the Team Canada scandal, tainting the greatest sport in the world. So, what the hell, Don Sweeney? As we would even see players like Patrice Bergeron publicly bashing Don Sweeney's decision. Like, how often does a player ever actually speak out against his own GM? Anyways though guys, I really appreciate the support. I hope this video helps. I really appreciate your support on my Hockey Cards channel. We are really close to hitting 1K, so if you could, show some love to the Hockey Card channel. And as always, thanks for watching.